This is the Mike LiPetri Show. What's going on? We have the Italian stallion here, Frank Bono, owner of Primi Italian Steakhouse in West Islip. The place is mint. I love it, but also entrepreneur and real estate investor in a multifamily and commercial buildings, man. What don't you do, Frank?
It seems like we do it all.
Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you. You have been somebody that has been nonstop as a hustler, somebody who has grown and built himself up just from square one, from level zero. I mean, truly level zero. You should be so proud of yourself. I mean, to be able, and first off, before I even go into all your accomplishments, you had just a big accomplishment.
That's
a
right.
month ago. Congrats to having a new baby girl, Serena.
Yep, Serena James.
Serena,
yep.
That's
a month old.
Oh, so congratulations.
Thank
Now
you.
it's the two girls. Now you got the two girls.
It's two girls. I'm outnumbered at home. It's a 2-year-old and a 1-month-old.
And then your wife, Megan, she must be.
She's the best.
She's the best. I know. She is awesome, man. The fact that you got 3v1, you're screwed. You know that.
Oh, yeah. No, and I have a feeling we're going to have 2 more girls.
Yeah. Get ready.
All girls.
Get ready. You know what they say about men that have women? All men that have baby girls means what'd you do? What'd you do back in the day? Huh? We don't need to talk about that. That's off camera.
I earned this one. Yeah, I earned this one.
No, man, we're looking so forward to this. I can't wait because I really want to talk about how you started from the ground up, building Primi Italian Steakhouse. Like, how old are you right now?
34. Just turned 34
in
May. Yeah. 34
in May, man. So you're 34 and a half. I mean, God bless you, buddy, with where you've come to and become an owner of this thriving Italian steakhouse, which is so unique in the area. It's gorgeous. I love the aesthetics. Outside, inside, food's fantastic. But how did you do it? Where'd you go? Start square one.
So starting, way back before Primi, I was managing a restaurant up in Huntington. It was a bunch of young guys I went to high school with. We opened up one location over there in Huntington. I was about 21 years old. I was the general manager of that location, and we ended up scaling that business. Every 6 months, we opened up a new place. We had locations in 2 locations in Huntington. We had Sag Harbor. We had West Village in Manhattan, Greenwich, Connecticut, and Stamford, Connecticut. So I kind of learned as I was going along. And, by the time I got 25 years old, we ended up selling a few of those restaurants. A few of them we closed down, and we had some successes and some failures. But I took all of that experience, and I went at 25 and signed the lease over in West Islip, which was right down the block from where I grew up, like literally a half a mile from my house.
As the early 20s, though, it's hard building capital that can be used to start an investment, especially in this Long Island economy, the cost of living and all that. How'd you manage that?
Sure. So I was armed with, I knew the answer. I knew exactly how to run the business. I was doing everything from hiring, firing. I knew how much dollars I needed to open the restaurant, how much kitchen equipment, how much staff. So I had a tremendous amount of experience going into it and the confidence to go to investors. I had 3 different names written down on a piece of paper. The first one I went to, clearly I hit it out of the park. I mean, he signed right up, and you've met my business partner, Mike. He's incredible.
Shout out, Mikey.
Guy.
Love you, buddy.
Mike Weber, we love you.
We love you.
Great guy, but took a big leap of faith. And, for him, it's like, he always says, like, I didn't invest in the business, I invested in the person.
Right.
And he's been along for the journey, from that time when I was 25 years old, sitting on his back deck, all the way to now. And, fast forward, we have multiple pieces of real estate. We just bought the building at Primi. We're doing a major renovation there, and Primi's been, thankfully, wildly successful.
Yeah, and I find it. What made you see? First off, let's go back to that capital growth, because I think so many people who are feel discouraged and they want to feel encouraged of getting and building their own business and that entrepreneurial mindset, but they feel that they can't get it. And for you to just discover multiple different prospective investors and then be able to seize that moment, utilize your experience, your skills, and just go for it. Take that leap of faith and make that pitch. What was it like? Were you nervous? How did you prepare for that? What was inside of you? That feeling.
Sure. Yeah, so I was definitely nervous going into it. It's first big meeting. It could determine the rest of your life, which it has completely altered the path of my life. But it was a lot of preparation, but it was a lot of confidence in knowing what it was going to take to get that business to the next level, and then being able to answer every question. And I don't think now, if we were talking to somebody who wanted to get started, who has worked in the restaurant business, I would say you don't need to know all the answers, but you need to know that you're going to be working very hard to acquire those answers as you go along, you know. But you got to take the leap of faith, and we took the leap of faith, and fortunately it paid off, and it's worked out great. It's worked out very well.
Yeah, I think that's amazing achievement. You should be so proud of yourself with pushing forward with it. What was the hours like when you first started?
So when we first started, I feel like I was doing it all wrong. I was, you know, doing everything. I hired, I fired, I did payroll, I did training, I ordered food, I ordered beverages, I did all of the inventory. I was literally there at 8:30 in the morning, and I was the last one there, 12:30, 1 o'clock at night, and then back to it the next day. So I worked a ton, and after 3 years, I started realizing, like, you know, I didn't want to buy myself a job. I didn't want to be a slave to the business. I wanted to continue to scale and grow, and there was no way I was going to be able to do it by being in every single aspect of that restaurant, micromanaging. So slowly, I started giving away tasks. I started farming out, okay, you do payroll, you do the schedule, and over the course of a year and a half, I got all of that off my plate. And I watched the business grow. I hired a general manager, I hired assistant managers, I hired a banquet manager. I mean, before then, I was still booking banquets. So
crazy.
now I'm just analyzing data. I'm looking at data points. I'm looking at numbers. We're systematically dialed in. You know, on Tuesday, I could tell you exactly what we did in sales down to the penny the previous week, Monday through Sunday. I could tell you what my payroll percentage was. I could tell you every single dollar worth of inventory I have in that restaurant run off data 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a week. You know, and I don't have to be there. There's times I'm not there for, you know, 3 weeks. I mean, I'm there if I want to be there. I'll just pop in, I'll enjoy. And, you know, then there's other times I just don't need to be there, and I don't have a job role when I'm there, aside from doing what I enjoy doing, which is going table to table, hanging out with Mike, going to this guy, you know.
Guilty as charged. Yeah, I have patronized his restaurant numerous times.
He has. And it's a great feeling at the restaurant. I mean, we have an incredible customer base. I mean, they're a lot of our guests have become like my family. You know, we see the same people there all the time. They've come to my baby's, to my first daughter's christening, and we go to parties at their house, and vice versa. And so when we're there, it really is a good time. It's like a party, you know. But we scaled it back a little bit, especially with baby number 2.
Yeah,
especially with baby number 2. Yeah.
With Serena now in the pictures, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. But
yeah.
I think so many people, when they own their own business, they have that visual of being able to step away whenever they want, coming back, and the business still runs normal. But how many years would you say from opening to that point, how many years did it take to really reach that point of time freedom?
Sure. Well, time freedom I still haven't accomplished, because then I just started taking on more and reallocating what I did with my time and focusing on other businesses. But to get out of the day-to-day operation of Primi, it was about 6 years. You know, it was
6 years.
It was 2.5 years of really setting my mind to saying, this is what I'm going to do. And then during COVID, I really had that time to regroup, take a step back, formulate a plan of action, put the right hires in place, set up the training materials, do all that upfront work to then pass it along. So it's been in the past 2 or 3 years that I've really been able to dial that in, and really it's getting us ready to scale to the next location, and hopefully the one after that and the one after that. I mean, we're running it like a business. I'm not running it like, you know, I'm buying myself a job. So it's
right.
It's a different shift, and it's obviously I think that I could do the role. I always think I could do it better myself, but hey, they're doing a great job. My team does a fantastic job. So try not to micromanage them and let them do their thing, and just keep an eye on the numbers.
Can we build on that mindset?
Sure.
I love that framing where it's buying a job versus building a business. Can you elaborate on that mindset of where that came from for you, and how that has motivated you to make that change of some of the biggest skills of the greatest leaders was their ability to delegate.
Sure.
To those that are competent and able and ready and willing to execute that job. And I think you've really demonstrated that ability. But can you explain that mindset for the viewers?
Yeah, so it's much easier said than done. I mean, it takes a lot of focus, takes a lot of, you know, faith in the process, and learning as you go and educating yourself on it. But, you know, I came from a background where my family's first generation grandparents came here, and they opened up pizzerias, and they were there from open to close till the day they died, and they just worked and worked and worked, and they were always there.
Yeah.
And they ended up, building quite, a nice portfolio of real estate and a good amount of assets, and they had the financial ability to be free, but they still chained themselves to the counter. And I remember thinking at a young age also, that is not what I want for myself. And I saw that kind of, Primi was very successful. We were making money, but I was working like a dog. And I knew we wanted to settle down, that we wanted to have kids, and that I wanted to be there for my family. And, kind of get that I was never going to be able to grow past Primi Italian Steakhouse in West Islip if I didn't start delegating some of those things away. So it is a mindset, and you have to be prepared to do it, and you have to take a lot of steps, and you have to be mindful. You have to you kind of have to change the way you think you should be running your business. A lot of guys they're a landscaper. I could start my own landscaping business. I'm an accountant. I could go start my own accountant business. I work at a marketing firm. I could go open up my own social media company. There's so much more that you don't think about when that you don't think about prior to getting into it. Just dealing with insurance companies, payroll companies, all the things the legal aspects of how do you form a partnership, what kind of agreements you need in place. Now we're getting to a place where we're doing some estate planning. There's so many things that you don't think about prior to, and you might be skilled and have the ability to perform the job function well and run a great restaurant. One unit, you might be wildly successful. You could be making $500,000 a year at that one location, but are you going to be able to get beyond that location?
Right.
And it's again, it's a challenge, and it takes time.
And I think that's key, is that it takes time to recognize that maybe you might be able to do better, but others can also do just as great as a job.
Oh, yeah.
And then B, on top of it, is being able to remember the very purpose of why you started the business. The very purpose was to have that time freedom, that financial freedom, and that ability to live the life as you want. But if you're chained to the business,
you're not going to be able to.
You're not going to be able to at all. So tell me about now these renovations that you have going on. You do a whole new build out this summer. It's looking good. Tell me what made you want to do this, and what is it now the restaurant looking like?
Sure. Yeah. So I always wanted to do these renovations, and we were leasing the business. We were leasing the building. And once we had the opportunity to buy it, I knew I wanted to do a lot of renovations there. So we ended up closing last July, and then we started planning the renovation. It took about a year to get everything in order. And we closed June 21st, and we ran through a 3-month, as fast as we could.
Yeah.
Kind of a gut on the restaurant. It was way more invasive than I thought, but we redid the entire kitchen, the subfloors in the kitchen and behind the bar area, and kind of, just added millwork everywhere, redid all the furniture, all new fixtures, lighting all over the place. So it looks stunning.
So it's a nice, like a romantic vibe we're looking at? Or are we looking like just a nice, what's the vibe we're going for here?
It's just an enhanced Primi vibe. Primi was always nice, very warm, very comfortable, very approachable. Now it's just finished and a little more, I'd say, opulent, very dramatic. We use some dark colors. The lighting is where we really went a little crazy, because it was a very dark restaurant before. Beautiful chandeliers we added in the bar.
Ooh, look at you, little Mr. Class, Mr. Class.
We went with a little bit of like a gentleman's haberdashery theme, so a lot of like really, really cool fabrics, that pop. A houndstooth, some plaids. The furniture is gorgeous, and we added a really cool fireplace lounge. We added a player piano to the balcony, playing down on the bar.
Wow.
So it's the same menu, very similar menu, at least very few changes. Same size bar, same layout, just far more enhanced. It looks like it's finished. It looks like we're competing. We're taking it up a notch.
Yeah, we just went up to level 11.
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to think so. There's a lot of the big restaurant groups, the Scottos and the Bolsons. I mean, they have very deep pockets. I'm very happy with what we've accomplished with the amount of money that we spent on the renovation. Very happy, and it went a very long way. And we had some improvements to the outside of the building as well. And it's coming along. Now that we own it, we'll make those investments.
Yeah, of course, that makes total sense. And now, speaking of making those investments, you allowed yourself to have that free time to build your business. Primi's that baby that's now just crushing it, running smoothly. It's a machine now. But it allows you to open up where you just said to yourself, you're filling up that extra time doing other types of investments in businesses. What type of other, can you elaborate on that, the real estate investments and the other entrepreneurial ideas that you've been working on?
Sure. So I always knew I wanted to get into the real estate business. I always wanted to own the building at Primi. So after a year of being open and operating there, and once we started getting our bearings and we started making money, I attempted very quickly to buy that building, and we couldn't come to an agreement with the landlord. So I told him, I said, listen, right now we have the opportunity to do it. If not, I'm going to find something else to invest the money in. So we ended up buying a multifamily. My partner and I, we took, the profits of Primi and we rolled it into a 3-family house in 2017. And the goal was to purchase one every year. Since then, I think now we're at 8. We've bought and sold some, but we have 8 right now, 8 multifamilies, 2 and 3 families. We have 1 4-family. Then we bought the building over at Primi.
All on Long Island?
All on Long Island, actually all in the town of Islip. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all the multifamilies are in Bay Shore. It's the town I grew up in. Very proud of that town, how far it's come. And it was an area that I knew. I didn't know, I didn't know much about Wyandanch and all these other areas. And yeah, I could have done some investments there, but I wanted it to be in Bay Shore. I wanted to help beautify that town. And
it's home. You wanted to build home.
Oh, yeah. Well, that is home base. And my wife and I were settled there. We just bought a townhouse. We're actually planning on swapping houses with her parents probably, and them taking our townhouse and us staying in Brightwater. So we plan on staying there, putting down roots, and I would like all of our investments kind of be in that little honey hole in Bay Shore.
I love that. I love that, man. That's something that is so important, where many people always say real estate is the gateway to financial freedom and opening yourself up. Now, how is it with the landlord-tenant laws in New York State? How have you been managing with that? I know it's not exactly the state; it's not exactly property owner friendly. So I wanted to ask you how that's been.
Well, to your first point that real estate is the key to financial freedom. I mean, I haven't seen that yet. I'm still working my ass. So I don't know who's saying that, but I mean, we're working on that. But it's very difficult actually dealing the landlord-tenant relationship. During COVID, we had a number of tenants not paying. Thankfully, there was a benefit there, and we were able to be made whole on some of them. But we've had very, very difficult times. Of the 20 units that we have, we currently have 4 evictions pending right now.
See?
Yeah.
How long has that been taking?
Well, 2 of them we're waiting on the sheriff to execute on, and then one of them is kind of a gray area. It's a gentleman who parked a trailer in the driveway. And when I bought the house, it was just parked there. He's actually living in the trailer, and we don't know. We don't have a lease. We're trying to figure out how this whole thing works. So we're hoping that we can move forward and get rid of him sometime soon. And
but
then,
from beginning to end, how many? Is it months? Is it several months? Is it?
Well, we had
weeks?
We had one that was 2 years, just over 2 years. No rent. We end up linking him up with Beacon House to try to get some social services. So United Veterans Beacon House, they're a great organization in downtown Bay Shore. I'm on their board. They do phenomenal things for veterans on Long Island. But it's just very difficult in New York State to evict anybody.
Would you recommend to those that are looking to get into the property owner, the rental market, would you recommend to those entering today in 2023, should they do it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, don't let that deter you. I mean, there's risks in every single business. You have to make sure that you calculate in, as long as it's not going to affect you financially, where you're not going to be able to pay your mortgage, that you have that cushion there. Hey, it might take you a year and a half or a year to get rid of somebody, but what's your play? I'm in these 8 multifamily houses for the rest of my life. That's my plan right now. It's a long-term play. I don't want to sell these assets. So a year and a half of headache, 4 out of 20 units, maybe I'm not making any money right now, but the properties have appreciated. The pro forma still look good. I'm not making money, but I'm, not losing my shirt, and it all averages out. And we calculated that risk, and, we're able to manage it, to manage the risk. And I think if it's, every dollar you have and you're going to rely on that income, I'd be, a little bit skeptical, as you should be with any business you're going to enter into, putting all your eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a cushion.
Did you ever have any support with financial investing, tutoring, mentorship, guidance, or is this all just you?
It is just me. Fortunately, at the restaurant, I've had the opportunity to meet incredible people every day. It's like when you were in politics, you're out there, you're meeting people all day, every day. I've gotten the opportunity to interact with some extremely successful people from my area who come into the restaurant and they're there with their families. And we've, again, developed great relationships. So I've had access to people that have done similar things that I've wanted to do. Successful restaurateurs, successful real estate entrepreneurs, developers. When I wanted to develop something, I called my friends over at Racanelli Construction. They're phenomenal people, and I asked them. I said, "What does it cost per square foot to build this out? What does this cost per square foot?" And they would give me all of that information. So yes, there's a lot of people, and I'm able to. I've been very fortunate to be able to have those relationships and.
Picking the brain.
Helps. Yeah,
picking the brain of people around you and just always. I think that's why it's so important to always be involved in the community. And you were just speaking about how you're on Beacon House board,
sure,
and just getting engaged, whether it be with nonprofits. So those, you're in the business of meeting people in your restaurant. So that allows you. Many people don't have that luxury where they can't meet the people. But I think by getting involved in the communities, specifically with nonprofits or other civic associations, et cetera, that allows you to really develop that network in a way that is not obvious to you right up in front. It's not part of your job. It's not part of your career. But nevertheless, by taking those extra hours during the day, during the weekends, et cetera, meeting these people, talking to them, learning about their backgrounds, it allows you to cultivate a greater mindset, a greater education,
sure,
and I think ultimately greater net worth long term.
I couldn't agree with that statement more. And one of the major, somebody asked me what my profession is. I feel like I'm in the people business. I'm in the relationship building business. We do a tremendous amount for nonprofits, especially local in our area. We've, served on committees and boards of both hospitals, Good Samaritan Hospital and Northwell Hospital right there in Bayshore. And we support their committees. We support the golf outings, and we invite them in to host their events. And we've done, the Joe Namath Foundation, you name it. If they come in and ask for something, they get donations, whether it's a gift card, whether it's a cocktail event. And we try to be as active as possible because they're doing such good in our community. They
Absolutely.
Really are. They're have an incredible mission.
You got to give back.
Oh yeah, and that's a big part of it. And ancillarily, for every dollar you give, you end up getting it back in a different way. One, you're doing good. It feels good to do good, but it does come back to you tenfold in the relationship building, in the people that you have access to and that you're able to get on the phone, and just overall good feeling.
Yeah, I love it, buddy. And I think it leads me to our final discussion, which is something that I love so much of what you're doing, where Bayshore is your home. You talked about it, investing in your community and giving back. And you have come up with this great project in Bayshore. And I want all the viewers to hear about this. Can you please talk about what you, because I love this, downtown Bayshore.
Yeah. We're
building a huge project. What can you elaborate?
In the grand scheme of things and the developments of the area, it's not as big. It's a 21,000 square foot building that's in Bayshore. It has a great historic significance to it. It was the old Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Building right in downtown Bayshore on East Main Street. And the building has kind of sat vacant and relatively empty for over a decade. So I ended up acquiring the building and getting into contract on it, and we intend to develop it and keep all of that historic significance. A lot of developers are coming into the downtown area and they're kind of wiping away the history. They're buying these beautiful old buildings and they're just knocking them down and building, 40, 50, 60,000 square feet you could build on the lot of the 21,000 I want to retrofit. So very excited about the project. I akin this to, American Hotel in Sag Harbor, just a downtown, very cool vibe. People would come here from the city. They'd stay here. They'd interact with our coastline. They'd support all of the businesses. And a lot of them ended up coming here, loving it so much, and then settling down here. So it will be a great economic driver, I believe, for the area, and will bring people in and have them stay here instead of, trekking across and staying in Fire Island and paying exorbitant rates. They could come there, spend the night, take the ferry over, spend the day, come back and enjoy our downtown, support the businesses. So very excited.
And
about
I love the fact that it reminds me so much of like Gatsby era, like 1920s, that vibe of just really just entertainment and life.
Sure.
That's what's the liveliness, the life that fills it. Like I was already envisioning when you were showing me the plans and how this would grow. I'm like, this could be something that really is a revolutionary appeal towards Bayshore that allows people from all over to be attracted because they want that energy, feel, and excitement. Oh, I can't wait. Chandeliers, I believe.
Oh, yeah, big chandeliers.
Come on, you got to sell that. Chandeliers is what that's what people love.
It's all about the lighting. It's all about the lighting. Yeah. Wait till come down to Primi and check out the lighting down there. It's mint too.
Ooh, exquisite. Chef's kiss.
Oh, yeah. But, it's going to be a great project. And you know what? People ask, like, you know, I'm taking the path of most resistance in trying to get all of this approved. You know, right now you could, turn this into a medical building. You could turn this into apartments.
Easily.
It's just not the right thing for the building. Doesn't call for it. It does the building injustice, and it does the town, I think, an injustice, because there is a need for it. And what we really want to do is create experience there. We want you to feel like you're transported into a different time. We want you to come into, the old world Bayshore, take a step in, to something that's very unique for Long Island as a whole, but definitely for the town of Islip. So very excited about it, and looking to get going with it.
Well, I think it's very important, the fact that you are going the path of most resistance, because you want to maintain that character, because you have such a passion towards bringing a crowd to Bayshore and growing Bayshore as a whole. And through this, I mean, one business can change everything for a downtown. It can create liveliness. It can create excitement. And what builds surrounding it, right? I mean, people can build off of what you have now and grow it. Maybe like get a speakeasy or something of the sort.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
right?
That'd be very cool.
There you go. So
that would be very cool.
We'll have to talk about that afterwards.
There's a lot of great projects going up in Bayshore. There's an incredible, culinary influence. There's it's incredible to see what's going on down there. I mean, every vacant storefront you drove down there, if you drove down there 10 years ago, it was vacant storefronts. Everywhere you turn, there's a new restaurant, a new retail store. It's alive with activity. There's new apartments going up. Yes, it's great. I think it's good. We do have to work on the parking situation and manage all of that. But I do believe that Bayshore, it is right now, drive through it, a very thriving downtown. And it's great to see it.
I love it, buddy. I think it's been fantastic. Frank, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. I can't wait to see what the next projects will look like and the passion that you have behind it. I can assure you I will be eating back at Primi. It's going to be, I can't wait to see how beautiful it looks with the new lighting and all. It's going to be delicious, man. Thanks for coming on.
You'll be the first to know. Thank you, Mike. Pleasure.